Hi there, everybody. How are you tonight? Thank you for waiting for me. If you're watching live, I love that, gosh, we already have 26 people watching live. I love that you guys just know what to do. You just jump in the conversation and you chat with each other. And today I went ahead and I put up a poll in the chat. I'm going to look at that really quick. I put up a poll that says, do you sell raw or frozen foods? So if you're watching live, I want you to find the poll function and I want you to answer that question for us. If it's not applicable, it's not applicable, which it sounds like there's a big chunk of you with that. We have about 68% of you right now sell raw, and 8% of you are saying, no, you don't sell it. 24% it's not applicable, which is awesome because that means that we have people who are not retailers watching Pets Plus Live Beyond the Pages. That's what you're tuning in for right now. Now, if you are joining or if you're watching a replay of this, I would love for you to comment in the comment section of wherever you're watching it, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or Pets Plus website. Please comment and let us know if you sell raw or frozen foods. Because if you don't, it's a huge trend that is only going to become even more important for the independent retailers because it's hard to buy it online. And it's a great way to drive traffic to your store. Not only that, it's really, really good for our pets. So please take the poll if you haven't yet. And welcome to Pets Plus Live, Beyond the Pages of the magazine. I've got the January issue right here with me. I'm your show host, Candace Doniolo of Pet Boss Nation. I'm a pet business coach and consultant. I'm a former retailer in the pet industry, and I still own a doggy daycare in Chicago. And I'm a regular columnist for Pets Plus magazine. These shows are an opportunity for you to go beyond the pages of the magazine, where I interview different experts or guests, and always, I interview the coolest store that's featured in the magazine. And that's what we're talking about tonight, is the coolest store. These shows allow you, the reader of the publication, to go on a journey with us beyond the pages, and it allows you to also chat directly with us. So I know that sometimes when you are watching live, you feel bad, like you don't want to interrupt us. But don't worry, one of our team members and the Pets Plus crew are in the chat room and they can flag the questions for us so that we can go back to them later. And it's also an opportunity for you guys to bond as a community, because I truly believe that we are stronger together. And I know that Pets Plus believes that too. So ask your questions away, chat with us. And I apologize in advance for my voice. I hope it doesn't go away completely, but I have my, I think you can probably see it here. Got this fun coffee cup that one of my clients gave to me like a boss. Where so I've got my tea and my honey in here. I've got my throat tea, so I'll be sipping on that. But so I apologize in advance. We're gonna get to our guests here right away. But you know, the whole reason that Pets Plus and I work together is because that we believe in the independent business owner. And we both, whether it's through my coaching services or the membership club I have, or the free magazine that they have, and all of they put this basically this whole magazine goes on their website and their email blasts, and even more content is on petsplusmag.com. So between the both of us, we're really trying to support the pet industry to help you thrive and become stronger business owners in your mind, your mindset, become stronger leaders, better leaders, and to help you make more money and save time. That's what I always say. So if you want to learn more about Pet Boss Nation, visit petbossnation.com. And as far as Pets Plus goes, you can go to their website, petsplusmag.com, and get your free subscription. There's also a digital download there as well. And before we get to our guests, I have to mention, they're the ones that are featured in for the coolest store section of the magazine. But Pets Plus in January just announced that their America's Coolest Store contest is now taking submissions. This is the third year that they are running this contest. And if you're the winner if you are, right, the America's Coolest Store, you get your cover on the whole magazine. Right, well, of course, the cover takes up the whole magazine. You get your your picture put on the cover of a magazine, and you get a nice spread as well in the magazine. And then the top 12, or I guess top 11 after that point, all get featured in the magazine as well. And so our guests tonight have the feature this month. Now, if you want to submit your entry for America's Coolest Store, you need to do so before March 1st, because if you do it before March 1st, if you've completed it in its entirety, you actually will receive expert advice on how to improve your chances of winning and becoming that cover face for 2019. You can apply online. Don't do it right now because I don't want you to leave, but you can apply online at petsplusmag.com/ACS. All right. I'm excited. We had the poll up, so it looks like a lot of people sell raw. I have one more poll, and I think that I'm going to, let's see, we'll end this poll. This next poll is going to be really interesting, I think, because our guests are pretty amazing. So this poll that I just put up says, if you have a freezer, so a lot of you are selling raw. This is for the people who sell raw. Again, do the poll if you're watching live. If you're not watching live, type in the comments. If you have a freezer, how many freezers do you have? Do you have 1 to 4, 5 to 10, more than 10? Here's the thing. When I had my store, I think we had 3 to 4. At first I thought we only had 3, and then I think we had 4 freezers. But one of them was full of bakery, like birthday cakes and ice cream cups and frozen bones, and the other one was raw food. And I think the freezer we had in the basement was for more birthday cakes. So we were not on the raw movement, and we should have been. I'm kicking myself for not getting into raw, because now I'm meeting a million retailers that have amazing raw businesses. But I will tell you, I've never met one that has as big of a business as our guests tonight. All right, because they have 20 freezers and a walk-in, and that's at one location. All right, so if we're looking at the poll live, you see that we have about 89% of our viewers tonight have 1 to 4 freezers, and 11% have 5 to 10. Nobody has more than 10, and our guests tonight have 20 plus a walk-in. So I know we have a lot to learn from them. All right, so tonight, January's Coolest Store, I haven't even said their names yet, is Brad and Sally Romero of Ben's Barketplace. There are 3 locations in California. They were founded in 2005 when Sally ran the day-to-day operations for about 5 years. And then Brad retired, joining the shop in 2010. Now, Ben's Barketplace is laser focused on providing the most cutting-edge nutritional information that's available to their customers. And they operate and own 2 of the current locations. One of their locations is a franchise, and they'll be opening up their 3rd location that they own in 2020, or very soon. The store that or is being featured, I guess, as the coolest store this month is their Roseville store, and it's known as the largest independent retailer of raw pet food in California, selling an average of 500 pounds a day. 500 pounds a day. I mean, in my store, I was lucky if I sold $500 of raw a day. I'm not going to lie. We did a lot of things well, but we didn't do that well. All right, so welcome, Brad and Sally, to Pets Plus Live. I've talked long enough. Please turn on your cameras and join us in the conversation. Camera and mic. There we go. Let me minimize myself. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're happy to have you. I mean, I think it's really, it's really impressive what you've accomplished with having that many freezers. When we look at who, everyone viewing, that you are inspirational. I think for probably those of us who want to feed more raw. We know it's possible because of what you guys have paved the way and done.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's the biggest, like you said, it's the fastest growing segment in the industry. And when you understand raw and how to feed it and the benefits, it all makes complete sense.
Totally. So I would love to start with your original why. Why did you start this business? Because it was in 2005 when you opened. What was the inspiration behind opening your doors?
Well, Ben obviously was the first inspiration. He was the 1999 state champion for narcotics in California and Western States Police Canine Association. And he found $28 million in dope and $750,000 in cash in his career. So
wait a second. I think you need to repeat that for 1 second. Let's give Ben some credit here. So how did you meet Ben to begin? Let's start there.
Well, I'm a retired state trooper.
Okay.
So CHP, the chips, all that stuff. Well, I worked Interstate 5, which goes between Mexico and Canada, and I became a drug interdiction officer. And shortly thereafter, in convincing my administration that we might have some dope going up and down the highway, they gave us a 90-day temporary. And on my first day, I located 50 pounds of BC bud marijuana out of Canada and 1 pound of tar. So that convinced my administration that we probably needed a dog. And shortly thereafter, I was sent down to the beautiful Napa Valley where they make wine and found Ben. And Ben had been imported from England as a dog, but he was a little bit too rough on the ducks, call him hard mouthed. So he ended up in this training facility for canines. And Ben came home with me. I was actually supposed to get a Malinois, pointy ear with teeth.
Yeah, you don't normally see yellow lab police dogs, I guess.
Yeah, I was a little deflated. The administration at the time, they saw liability rather than anything else. But anyhow, I took lemons and made lemonade with Ben and made him the state champion. His first day on the job, he found 1.2 or 1.5 pounds of cocaine in a airbag compartment on his very first day. So pretty cool. And I ended up becoming the canine trainer for the state when I retired. That's what I was. But I used to travel most of Northern California to keep training every week with my other canine officers. And one day I walked into a store and I thought, this is pretty cool. And, Sally actually worked for the Department of Justice, California Department of Justice, and the Bureau of Narcotic Enforcement. So I used to find the dope and then take it to her. And
that's so funny.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But, in any event, I thought this would be a kind of a cool thing to do, maybe. And we love dogs. But to answer your question, the state had spent all this money on training and everything, and basically, most departments, by the time they get a dog on the road, it's literally $100,000 investment with the training and the officer and the car and the dog and all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So when they recommended that I feed pedigree, I kind of, I was a little smarter than that and thought that's, not the best of food.
But did you already know that though? Did you already have pets before? You were already feeding a good. Yeah. Okay.
We had a German Shepherd at the time that was almost a former canine. He was going to be a canine, but anyhow, we were feeding him one of those great foods back then called California Natural. That
I remember that.
The industry killed.
Yeah.
But so anyhow, we knew that we could do better, and that's kind of how we started in nutrition back in 98, 99.
Okay.
Because dog food is dog food, right? Mm-hmm. So as we opened our store. It was 1,100 or 1,200 square feet. It was a little tiny hole in the wall and bad parking. And, we had this entrepreneurial dream. And Sally literally worked there for the first 5 years and as a volunteer. But it was fun. We enjoyed it. It's a very social thing, and we got to learn an awful lot. And come 2010, the economy was spiraling down, and we kind of scratched our heads and thought, our lease is up. Do we really want to continue on with this? Mm-hmm. And we both nodded and said yes, and we moved to Roseville, and that's where we blossomed. Unfortunately, right after I retired, 2 months after I retired, my second canine, who was a Malinois, was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
And I was given 6 weeks with her. That's what I was told by Western vets.
Oh, wow. Yeah, let's talk. So that I think really transitions into your kind of maybe new why, right? The new what you started initially because of Ben and needing something and wanting to, have a career change, something different. I mean, not career change, but you guys were ready to retire. But now, after reading some of our, correspondence from before, there's two things that really stood out as I think being really unique experiences that, one of them is maybe not as unique because I feel like I've gone through it recently myself, and I feel like there's a lot of people going through it. I see now with social media, but to just go backwards for a second, the vision and the purpose of your company is what, moves us all forward. It's kind of why we get up every day and why we, hit the grind, is because we feel like we are making a difference. And if you don't, guys watching, if you don't feel like you're making a difference, I encourage you to reconnect with why you started your business. And not only that, but the influence that you have, right? And you guys, Brad and Sally, you're major influencers in your community. And so to the pet parents. And so I would ask everyone watching just to remember how much influence you have, because one of the things you mentioned was that you had the unfortunate experience of having 3 dogs within a 5-year period all pass. You had to say goodbye because of cancer. And so that I'm assuming it's inspired you, right? To learn, to maybe.
Absolutely. We learned, I mean, that phone call from the vet dropped me to my knees, literally. I mean, like I said, this dog, Nikita, she'd saved my life 3 times.
Yeah.
I worked this, my office was the shoulder of a freeway out in the middle of nowhere. So backup was 20 minutes away. So it was me and her. But in any event, I was devastated. We were devastated. And then one day a lady walked in, one of our customers, and she said, well, you got to go see my vet. My dog's got cancer and we're really making changes. And, I scrambled at it. And the next thing you know, we were down there and we learned so much from her. She's actually the president of North American Eastern Botanical Medicine, and she's right here in Sacramento. And she's a very, very good friend of ours now. So I tell people I just regurgitate everything she's taught me. So
we continue to learn from her too.
Every day.
If there's something, if we have a question about something, we ask her, can you explain why? Not just, okay, we'll do that. So that's a big difference too. And we have our customers count on us for information. And that's some advice that I would give retailers is find your true passion. And when we opened the store, it was to sell dog food. It was to make pets healthier, but we weren't as focused as we are now. And you'll find that things happen along the way that really drill you into a particular focus.
And be confident in the foundation of your business, of what you have. Be confident in the fact that you know what you're talking about. And that for the most part, the industry, as we all know, is not necessarily for the health of our pets in many, many different ways. So when you're confident in telling one of your customers, this is exactly what I do for my dog, and if my dog had this is exactly what I would do to help them. So, we do a lot of crazy stuff that people just, their chins hit the ground. They're like, what? Where did you hear that? But for my dog, anyhow, I was given 6 weeks. I was told by my Western vet to just take her home, love her up, and let her be a couch potato. And you'll have her for about 6 more weeks. And, when you have that relationship and the love of that canine, I spent more time with her than my kids or my wife. Everything I had to do revolved around what had to happen with her first. So we did vitamin C IV therapy, and our vet said, you'll probably get 10 really good months out. I knew we weren't going to do chemo. I wouldn't do radiation. And as a matter of fact, the same day, one of our customers' dogs was diagnosed, and it happened to be February the 29th, leap year. So when they elected to go the chemo route, the radiation route, we went vitamin C. We had that happened on the 29th of February. We didn't lose her until 5 days before Christmas. The chemo dog died on January the 4th, or July the 4th. So the life that she had was fabulous. There was you wouldn't even know she was sick. She couldn't run and chase the ball and all that, but she came to work every day and she was greeting people at our store. Everybody loved her. And just like our vet said, she just fall right off the cliff and you'll know. And that's exactly what happened. So with everything that we did, I drove down to Sacramento. It's about 30 miles from here every week on Wednesday and plugged her in for 4 hours. That's how much I cared. So with $160 a week and 4 hours and just watch her to get healthy, she actually got better for the first 6 months, which was really cool. She was 10 years old. So, we say you can enhance age, but you can't fix it. So
I like that. You can enhance age, but you can't fix it.
The last 10 months, though, were fabulous. You never expect all this to happen with our pets. But unfortunately, 20 years ago, 1 in 20 dogs died of cancer. Today, the statistic is 1.65 out of 2.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Absolutely frightening.
Yeah.
So we're very confident in what we do. We know that the worst raw out there is better than the best kibble, as long as it's a pre-formulated and complete diet. Making it yourself and all these things, if you're really, really good at it, it's awesome. But as a business owner, the majority of your customers aren't going to be able to do that. So we focus them on the best quality raw food that they can afford. And we listen to Karen Becker a lot. We follow her all the time. Sell her products. She's fabulous. So we know that folks can't go out and shoot a rabbit and put all the organ meat and do all this, all that. In today's society, some can't, and that's fantastic. But the diets that are available out there are as high a threshold as you can possibly get. And really that convert from kibble to raw, people, I tell people that we've only been taught to scoop and dump for our convenience for the last several human generations, not for our dog's convenience. In other words, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, do you think, I guess, that, and I'm aware of that too, of like, the dog food that's on the market, dog kibble was made for convenience, but, scoop and dump as a phrase, again, and saying it, that it's for our convenience to your customers. I don't know that I ever used it in my business, and that can be why I didn't grow my raw. Do you say that to customers, and do they have like this light bulb moment?
Oh yeah. I'll give you a light bulb moment. You're probably not old enough to remember, though. So if you measure a dog's evolution in miles, it's 379 miles long. And you know that a dog is 0.7 off the mitochondrial DNA of a gray wolf, right? They have a digestive system 4 feet long, ours is 36. They have hinged jaw that can't rotate with sharp molars. A pH of 1 in their stomach, which is hydrochloric acid or pool acid, that would kill us. Our pH is 4 to 6. They have no amylase in their saliva, which is a digestive enzyme that we enjoy. So when we're chewing, we're digesting. So when that dog takes that large hunk of mammal flesh, he salivates and it lubricates it down into that short digestive system for perfect 70% moisture absorption, digestion. Half the digestion time, half the water intake, and the best part is half the poop. So when
there's always somebody that appreciates that.
Yes, there's always a perk.
And they get the firm, hard stool, which naturally expresses their anal glands as it should have been. So back in the day, World War II, we used to feed them canned horses. We used to kill the Mustangs up in Nevada and can them kennel ration. That's horse meat and horse bones. You know, that was good stuff for the dog. It didn't work out so well for the horse. But in any event, then World War II came along and they needed the metal from the cans for the war. Mm-hmm. This is the aha moment that you're not old enough for, but some folks might be. That's when we came up with the Gainsburger. Remember that? Anybody remember that? The Gainsburger was a pre-formulated, plastic-wrapped, smelly, hamburger-looking thing, and that was really our first step into kibble. And the industry at that time, actually, the USDA watched over the production of our dogs' foods, and then because we still had moral values, but then the baby boomers came along and they wanted convenience and TV dinners and, you know, remote controls and all that, and suddenly everything became a kibble. And it wasn't bad at first, but then when they found out that they could package their trash and put it in a fancy bag and call it a funny name, that's when the industry really took off.
That's what I ask people is, when was the last time you turned on National Geographic and saw a wolf hunting down a bag of kibble? So it's something that we've devised, not something that they need. And again, we tell people all the kibbles that we have, all the cans that we have are great quality. I would be willing to open anything in the store and feed it to my animals on the spot. If I'm not willing to do that, it's not coming in the store. And we stick to that. Mm-hmm. However, given the choice, we choose to feed a raw diet.
We say that we're not a bottom line store. We're passionate about our store, and we're passionate about our pets, our customers' pets. So when you can connect the human contact with your customer and explain to them that your pet is my pet, and I'm going to do everything in my power to extend that dog's life, especially if it's a cancer dog, especially if it's a geriatric dog. I love geriatric dogs. I've got a 14-year-old Malinois laying at my feet and a 15-year-old Min Pin outside the door because he'd be yipping. But that's our passion. And I give it to them. I give away a lot of raw. And I said, you know, take it home, try it out. You know, the dog's going to tell you what he likes and what he doesn't.
Why did you stop? I know that there are viewers who are like falling out of their seats saying you give away a lot of raw. Now, I'm all for, I love customer acquisition any way you can do it. And it's probably cheaper for you to give away that or give away samples of raw to customers to do that. But I know there are people who are like, what?
You better get a hold of your reps. You better get a hold of your reps, and you go over to the local grocery store and you get you a thing of baggies, and you say, Mr. Rep, I'm opening up this bag of medallions here, and I'm handing them out. I want you to cover it. And they'll do it every time.
They do, because they want to get their product out in customers' hands, and they know that we, the independents, are the ones that can do that. We can adequately promote the product and all the benefits of it. So they're perfectly willing to do that.
So if you invest, what's a bag of raw run us wholesale? You know, let's just say $20. So if you invest $20 and you hand that out to 10 people, and then you have those 10 people come back and become full-time raw addicts for a year, how much did that really make you?
Yeah, it's worth
it. It's like the old adage, the 50-pound or the $50 bag of dog food. That's $600 a year in your till. So, you know, we give away a lot of stuff. I have folks come in with little dogs, and I love little dogs better than big dogs, to be honest with you, because they spend a lot more money. They do, in the grand scheme of things. So, you know, give stuff away. You know, people don't understand raw. They're afraid. Every single day I get these ladies like, what the heck is that? Is it going to be a bloody mess? You know, am I going to get salmonella and E. coli? No, but you might get that from the chicken that you get in the grocery store, because this stuff's cleaner than what they're selling over there. So it's
if you give it to them and you get it in their hands and it gets in the animal's mouth, dog or cat. The thing is, if you go out shopping with your child and he loves something, are you more inclined to buy it for him? Yeah. If you're same thing with your pet. If you have the opportunity to get that product in that pet's mouth and he loves it, how can you say no, knowing that he absolutely loves this, when up until now you thought you had the pickiest pet in the world because he won't eat anything and you have 20 bags of open food sitting in your closet that he won't eat?
Go check out our testimonial videos on our website and you'll see. I mean, I've got one I just put up, a dog named Sophie and her mother. It's an 11-year-old black lab, little girl. They were thinking about euthanizing her because she was so miserable. And I just said, just give me a chance and I'll fix her for you. And I say that, I'll fix your dog. You know, you have to listen to what I say. I'm not a veterinarian. I'm not going to introduce medications. I'm going to change your dog's life through diet. There's nothing wrong with that. So, you know, we all know how the veterinarians are going to go. You know, 90% of them are going to be going off the other direction. And, you know, I always tell people, remember, they're a mercantile too. They're just a very high price mercantile. There's very, very few in the state of California, very few board certified nutritionists. Your vet is not a nutritionist. They're not a nutritionist. They're taught by the industry, period, end of story. So when you're strong enough to stand up to your local veterinarians and they know who you are and they know that what you're doing is correcting their clients, you know, we've got more veterinarians in a 5-mile radius of our store than we have Starbucks. So competition is stiff. And the repeat customer is everybody's key, right? But I'd rather have that customer coming back to me and spending 20, 30, 40 bucks a month and having a healthy dog than shoving Apoquil and Atopica and prednisone and all these other things that destroy their immune system. And that's the confidence that we have.
And that's a big thing. Like Brad says, you have to be confident in what you do. You know your products, you stand your ground. And we hear that from the reps a lot, that, man, we don't know how you do what you do so well, but that's, you know, honestly, I don't have a specific answer for that. We just are very meticulous about what we carry. If it doesn't meet our standards, it's not coming in the store. I don't care if, Mr. Rep, you're going to give me 50% off. I don't care if you come in 5 times and you want to buy me lunch. No, your product is not coming in the store.
They know that. They know they're not going to get it in.
You stand around and know your products.
If you go to the doctor, does the doctor tell you, Candace, I want you to eat the most highly processed food you can possibly find so you can have inflammation throughout your body and shorten your life?
Yeah.
That's simple. It's close to species correct. I always use this adage. Think about a raptor, an eagle, a hawk. Why don't you throw some kibble in their cage and see how long they're going to live? Another carnivore, but they're not going to eat that kibble. The scavenging carnivore, the dog and the cat, will to survive, but not necessarily the best diet for them. Again, I mean, there's some fantastic kibble out there, and dogs live, you know, full, healthy lives with it. But as they get more geriatric, you know, I kind of use 8 years old on any dog. I don't care if it's big or small. That dog is old. Things are starting to slow down. They can't do the same thing they did last year. Every 50 days on average is a human year for a dog, which is frightening because we all love them to death. And when that time passes, I mean, the last thing we want to do is to make that call. So extending these dogs' lives as much as you can with simple nutrition and maybe spending 3% more than you're spending now, it's a no-brainer to me.
I mean, you've covered a lot of things I want to definitely dig into. The first one, one of the things I think that you do differently is that instead of just loving your customers, you really care about your customers. And so, a lot of people can say, oh yeah, I love my customers, but you care. And I think that's way more impactful as a business owner too, is just to come from the care place. Because when you care about these people, you will truly help them, whether it's a policy for your store even. But it sounds like through all of the things you've shared about strategies that you do, you truly care.
Well, the store that we're in right now in Lincoln is right next to a Del Webb community. So we've got a lot of geriatric people around us. I mean, you got to be careful driving around here because they'll crush you. But They listen to their doctors. You know, their biggest conversation is their next doctor's appointment. So that generation is so used to listening to the vet. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I always tell people when you go to the vet, take a second and say, let me go home and think about that and do a little research first. You know, that kind of thing. One of the best things I ever heard from anybody from franchising was, not everybody is your customer. And don't chase the customer down. You know, I mean, everybody that's been in business sees a customer come in and you're like, ooh, that one's not going to work. And it ends up being one of the best customers you ever had. And then on the other hand, you'll have one come in and that one looks good and that's not going to work. So you really, you know, it's the old, you can't judge a book by its cover. You can understand that in our hearts, we all love our animals. It doesn't matter, you know, where we're at, any place financially or anything else. A lot of people think that, you know, the young couple down the road, they, you know, got a young family and they're not going to be able to afford that. So I should probably push them over here to this kibble because that's probably all they can afford. You know, we've got couples that come in and they got 2 little kids and they're vegans and they buy raw out the yin and they know that's species correct for their dog. They've done the research. This millennial research is right here on their phone and they're not taking the BS anymore. They're not listening to what's being shoved down their throat by the industry. So, you know, I tell people that I'm the guy that pulls back the curtain on the wizard in the white coat.
Yeah.
You know, he might be telling you something correct, and I hope he is. But, you know, you listen to people like Dr. Becker, you know, that whole cancer series, the Pet Fooled, all of that stuff. Watch that over and over and over again. It's insane how the industry has really morphed against what we all should be going the same direction on.
Right. So how, that was one of my questions is what resources are out there for people who want to learn more, because as you've already mentioned, the consumer is doing the research and we don't want the consumer to come in and know more than we do because we want to establish ourselves as experts. I mean, I know it's going to happen in certain scenarios, but what resources would you like to suggest for people so that they can learn more for themselves?
You know, one of the best white papers out there, and I hate to do this plug a couple of days after this, but one of the best white papers out there is Champions. I know everybody just fell out of their chair, but it's very, very comprehensive and thorough. It's available on their website. Just get that. Nothing else. No.
Whether you agree with the company's philosophy or not, at least do your research. And that research can be by a good, upstanding company that you believe in. And it can also be by a Purina or one of those brands. But so you know where they're coming from. And that's the whole thing about research, is knowing both sides of the coin. So when a customer says, but I had a dog that lived to be 18 years old and I fed him dog chow, how do you combat that? That's how you combat that. Look at both sides of the coin.
Look at, I mean, every brand you carry, you should be able to recite almost the good and the bad. If there is any bad, it shouldn't be in your store. But, you know, it's that bottom line thing that really blows people out of the water, because they want to come in and they're looking for, you know, whatever. No, we don't carry that. Well, why not? Well, it's not good food. I say it just like that. It's not a good food. What do you mean it's not a good food? It's all carbohydrates. And they're bad carbohydrates. Your dog licking his feet yet? No. Well, he will be when he's 5, guaranteed. Really? How do you know? Well, because that's how long it takes it to build up. And that's the only place a dog can sweat. So they start licking their feet because you're feeding them full of sugar. Every single day you're feeding that yeast. You're refilling his sugar tank with that food, and he's just going to be ripping himself to shreds. Well, how do you know that? No, I've been doing this a while, and I know what's going to happen. And then you're going to run to the vet because your dog's got soft poop, and he's scratching like crazy, and they're going to shoot prednisone at you, and that's going to fix it for a few weeks, and then he's going to come off the prednisone, and then he's going to be doing it all over again. So it's a vicious cycle. How about this? how about instead of spending all that money and wasting all that time, you just feed him right? Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's what I do. How's my dog look? He's 15 years old and he's chasing a ball.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can clearly tell even in, well, not only this segment that you just did, but the previous conversation you had. I'm like, I know our viewers are like, wait a second, they're trying to take notes. I'm like, you guys, you can go back and watch the replay and you're gonna like slow-mo it so you can get a script down to tell people, but you're clearly confident. You feel like you can sway the customer or move or answer certain things because of you have solutions, problems and solutions for every one of their kind of issues. And that I'm sure comes just with the research and the knowledge that you just said, and then talking to your customers and engaging with your customers. And from your own experience, you've owned a lot of dogs and have gone through a lot of stuff too.
There's only been one dog that we've never been able to fix.
Only one, huh? What was the scenario there?
The owner wouldn't buy in. We tried, but
yeah,
it's like this dog I just talked about, Sophie. Sophie's mom, literally, I mean, she came to us from integrative vet. Supposedly. We know her very well, and the dog was absolutely destroyed. And when Sophie's mom said she went back in there to find out, it's not getting any better, she said, I want to put her back on steroids. And she's like, no, that's not going to help. So she literally came walking in our store. I could smell the dog from 30 feet away as soon as she walked in the door. And this is in a brand new store that we have here in Lincoln. We've been opened 6 months. Well, no, then it was 2 months.
2 months. Yeah.
So people don't really know us. And she says, I looked at the dog and I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, holy crap, I hope you listen to me. I really hope you listen to me. And I mean, the dog smelled so bad. It was kind of unfortunate she was in the store because it was really bad. And she loved this dog, and the dog looked like absolute, I mean, just terrible. It's like one of those dogs you see, in Mexico or something.
Yeah.
It was obvious the dog wasn't feeling well when you call her name, Sophie, and she wouldn't even raise her head. She'd just roll her eyes up and look at you. So you knew she wasn't
well. Like you said, not everybody is your customer. You can only, as pet parents, we make all the decisions for our pets. So.
And this dog is 11. It's not a young dog. The difference in that dog now, it was 131 days. She was in here 3 days ago. 131 days, that dog's life is completely turned around, and she's almost got all of her fur back. And she hasn't even turned 12 yet. But, I mean, you're really measuring the rest of that dog's life in months, not years. So let's give her the highest quality of life we can rather than chasing the, dollar bill.
Yeah.
Another thing that happens, too, is when you can hand them a sample of the raw, you're in the game, too. It's not, you're giving them something to try. So, it's not just saying, here, buy this, it'll work. I'm investing in your dog. I want to see your dog or your cat get better.
Yeah, I like that. I'm investing in your animal. So one of the things that you offer is these consultations, nutrition consultations. And you do them for free if they come in the store, and otherwise you do charge $50. But you actually, it's not just a conversation, you actually put together a plan for them. Tell us more about the nutrition consultation concept.
Well, it's pretty simple, really. I mean, every dog is a dog. The only difference is the size, the weight, and the age. Everything else is the same. Is a 62-pound female Malinois going to need the same caloric intake as a 62-pound female Basset Hound? No, it's going to need more, because that Basset Hound is not going to have the metabolism of the Malinois. So you take into consideration age, and when they're a young dog, they need more calories. When they're an older dog, no matter what, they need less. So I go through, and Sally goes through all things that that dog is consuming. Everything, meds, when it's washed, that's a huge thing. What it's getting washed with, when it was fixed, and how old. All of those different things play into it. And with all of those little characteristics, we can polish as closely as we can get without doing a hair and saliva sample test, and we get pretty accurate. I mean, we get really accurate and able to fix these dogs just by selecting the proper diet for them and knowing at what age they shouldn't eat a certain protein, at what age they're okay to eat most all proteins, you know, what the carbohydrate levels are. It's just the amount that varies by weight. Now, I have a rule of thumb that, you know, like on the back of a bag of kibble, just like on most of the other foods, is that it's too much. It's too much. It's about 25% heavy, in my opinion. I'm the guy that, you know, when the canines would come up for their annual certification, I'd put them out of service because their dogs were fat. I say, you know, that's not your dog. That's the state's dog. And that dog is fat, and he's not going back into service until he loses 5 pounds. So I'll look at a dog and tell him, I'm right between your eyes on this. Don't let me offend you, but, you know, you bring your dog in here and I'll tell you what I think. And it can be a Chihuahua. It can be a Great Dane. If your dog's fat, your dog's fat, and I'll tell you. And I have a good estimate of what that dog should weigh and how much that dog should lose. We actually have a scale in our store so they don't have to run to the vet to get weighed. Let's start right here, okay? Your dog is 78 pounds. This dog should be 72 pounds. Doesn't sound like much, but that's almost 10%. Add 10% to you and see what you think. Oh.
Do you ever offend anybody?
Yeah, I've had ladies walk out crying.
Oh.
And then they come back in.
That's a tough police officer already there.
Scale is an excellent tool to have, because you ask somebody, how much does your dog weigh? Oh, I don't know, 12 or 13 pounds. You put him on the scale and he's 18.
Yeah.
It's hard for me because I'm in a kindler, gentler world now. And in my previous career, everybody bought what I was selling or they went to jail.
Right. Okay, so you walk this questionnaire, you put together a plan for them. What does that plan typically look like? Is it just like a 6-month plan, a lifetime plan? Like, what is it? How do you break it out for them?
It's 28 days for the whole cell structure of the dog to change. So if you start today, your dog's going to get worse for the first 10 days. But you have to stop everything. You have to stop the crappy treats, the milk bones, and all of this stuff. You have to stop washing them every week or two. You can't wash a dog more than once every 6 weeks. You put medicated shampoo on that dog, he's going to feel better for a day, and then he's going to start ripping himself to shreds again because you've removed all of the oils that he should have. So all of these little things, you know, obviously the first step is going to be raw. I want the dog to lose weight. I want the dog to process efficiently. I want the dog to eliminate efficiently. And when all those things happen, and I just say, give me 28 days, just 1 month. You come back and tell me what you think. You buy enough for 1 month. They're back in a week going, OMG, why didn't they do this before?
Right.
Our plans are a lifetime plan, but we also modify it with people as things change, as the dogs get down to weight, as the itching stops, as the fur grows back, as you know, all these different things are getting better with the dog. We do more fine tuning and change things. And sometimes we put them on a really narrow diet with no treats, and that's it. This is it for the first month. Then they come back in, the dog's doing great, and then we say, okay, we'll add one thing. And then if the dog digresses, we know what's causing it.
The thing is that not everybody can afford raw. We've got, right now, we have a new customer that came through our website. They live 60 miles away from us. And I started chatting with them we have a deal on our website that we're able to chat. So I didn't know who they were. They started telling me about their dog. It's a St. Bernard, 18-month-old male St. Bernard. And he is completely wigging out. And I'm like, that dog's way too, that's a brand new shiny penny. There shouldn't be any issues. And they've chased their tail, literally doing all these different things. They were trying CBD to fix it, and they're trying this and trying that. And I said, you come on in and let's try this for a month. And I told him the 10-day thing, 10 days, 2 weeks, he's going to get worse before he gets better. But you give me that 4 weeks and watch what happens. And they were in over the week, and they're like, it's been 10 days. And, his eyes are just blowing out of his head. He's got almost scabs around his eyes. Wow. And they came in and they said, she got a hold of me about 5 days in. She's like, he's getting bad. I'm like, I told you he would. So now 10 days, 12 days, he's starting to clean up now. That's what I use that term all the time. He's starting to clean up. He's starting to clear all that junk that was in him out. And, it's a natural process. It's not going to happen overnight. Dogs don't get fat overnight. We love them to death. We see them every day. And it's just like, you go and see Cousin Vinny and he's put on 20 pounds since the last family reunion. Like, whoa, what happened to you, Vinny? No, I don't know. And the thing is that these dogs, can't my dog lose weight on kibble? Yeah, it'll take 6 months. If you want that dog to scrub 10 pounds and he's a Labrador or something like that, you give me 2 months and he'll be pretty close to being down. It's carbohydrates that they don't need. The big flavor of the month now is keto diet. Well, what's a dog? Dog's supposed to be keto.
Yeah.
And that's people say, oh, I don't know about this newfangled raw thing. And I tell people it's not newfangled, it's old-fangled. We've gone full circle. We understand what the dogs originally needed. We understand that our dogs now still need those same things, and be able to emulate that with our technology.
Species correct food.
One of the things you mentioned, we don't have a lot of time left, guys. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat. I see that Jocelyn wants to know what type of raw food you feed. What brand, or do you do home cooked? What are you doing for your own dogs?
Oh no, I don't home cook. I don't even home cook. Yeah.
No, we carry 11 different brands. We feed all of them. Honestly, we'll get somebody that comes back. My dog won't eat this. Okay, well, my dog will.
We feed all of them, and again, that's where some of our knowledge comes from. And if we're looking at a brand, if they say, hey, when you defrost ours, it looks better, it holds its shape. Okay, send me a bag and let me examine that. Let me check that out. Well, so we do our research.
Here's a good thing, something that we didn't cover. And understand that the brands are under such a microscope with the USDA and everything. Of course, the industry they would like to see it go away. I mean, what happened to Radcat here recently is just a sin. But in any event, you don't ever want to feed that food cold. Defrost it, keep it in the fridge, keep it like you do your meat at home. You go to Costco or wherever. The meat's good for 2 or 3 days before you have to freeze it or cook it. Same thing. But don't feed it cold. Your dog is 102.5 degrees. You go and stick 40 degrees in him, he's going to puke, and then you're going to blame the food. It has to be room temperature. What we do is we just take a little warm water, knife and fork it into a little stew as long as it's warm to the touch feed. But you try and feed it cold, you're going to have issues. And a lot of people don't understand that. And then if it's a geriatric dog or a cancer dog, I've got other things, but we don't have time right now.
On that too, as to somebody that asked, what do we feed our dogs? Well, we feed them all, but a lot of times, with the number of brands that we carry, we have 11 brands in raw. But what it comes down to is sometimes portion size or the special needs of that animal, dog or cat. So if I have our 6-pound min pin, I'm not going to go and buy a big 25-pound bulk box that comes in 1-pound planks when he only eats 2 ounces a day. So that could be a limiting factor. But again, if I have a big dog that's 80 pounds, that would be a good choice. A bag that comes in 1-ounce portions is not going to really do it for him.
Look for bulk. Everybody's afraid of bulk. We're not just feeding min pins. We're feeding Labradors. We feed Great Danes. We've got a guy that spends $20 a day on his 175-pound Great Dane. He feeds a 5-pound chub a day. Those folks are out there. he says, this is a Ferrari payment. He says, yeah, but I love my dog. So people are afraid of bulk. You might have seen, I think we were told, but I think we were a big part of the double bag Stella and Chewies, because I kept telling them, hey, we need more bulk. We need good stuff. Go big, go big. So they came up with the 12-pounders. We sell a lot of bulk. I would say the majority of what we sell is bulk.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we get 500 pounds a day thing.
Right. There's a question also, and we didn't have time to really get into it, but I'd love to, is that the training of the staff, in the article, the Pets Plus article did mention that they take an online certification or they go through some online classes. Tell us more about how you train the team.
Well, we pay for it eventually, but we make sure that they're up to speed before we dive into that. And we've got 2 managers and 2 clerks. And the managers are, a replication of ourselves. People like to talk to the owners, but they trust our managers. So we're big advocates on Dogs Naturally magazine. Dana's fantastic. Her staff is fantastic. We take all the courses. You take the certification for nutrition, then you take the certification for the raw, and I would do it in that order. To be honest with you, I haven't finished the raw one yet, but we all of the kids have finished them, and people kind of gravitate to Sally and I all the time because of my history and being in the business for almost 15 years. So we have that's one more little brick in the wall of your foundation for your people. If you've got people that are staying around with you for a long time, we take really good care of our employees. We just don't, hire off a Craigslist and roll people over every 6 months. We want people for years, and they love their job, and they're very hard to find. Don't get me wrong, but invest in your people.
That's very important for the customers too, because when you start building that trust with that pet store retailer, and then you go in one day and you find they're not there and somebody else is there, you build up that trust, and now all of a sudden that person's not there and the next person's there. Pretty soon you say, well, wait a minute, there's no continuity here. The person that I was talking to isn't here. And people come to us and ask us if either of our store managers is there. They'll say, well, is Michelle here? Is Christina here? I was talking to them last week about my pet. So people seek them out now.
And I'm like,
we do a lot of role playing with them, and we have them listen on our consultations.
Exactly. Have them shadow you, and once that's achieved, I'm amazed watching them. I'll be on the other side fixing things on the shelf, listening to them. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. But yeah, you gotta have good people. You gotta take really good care of them as best you can. And I'd love to pay them $1 million, but when they love their job, I mean, it's the old saying: it's not a day of work.
Yeah. So some of the conversation in the chat room right now. So Kathy, the resources he was talking about is Dogs Natural Magazine, or Naturally, sorry, Dogs Naturally Magazine.
Yeah, dogsnaturallymagazine.com.
So they have, it is a magazine that gets printed and can come to you, but they also have a lot online, and they have a course that they made. They probably have a variety of courses. But in the first one he's saying is that you should sign up for the nutrition one and then do the raw one. So definitely check that out. And it's a good base. There's still more to learn beyond that if you really want to even get into, there's so many things out there in the market to help fight cancer.
I would recommend that you bring in, they're published every 2 months, and we buy 50 magazines for every publication, and they sell for like $6 or $7. And I put them right in front and center by the POS, $6.95 or whatever it is. And when those customers come up and you have this consultation with them and all that, I pull this out and I go, look at this. There's nothing bad in this. There's no bad advertisements. And you know what? Here you go. You go and do the research. I just gave you $7. And people are just floored by that.
Yeah.
You know,
wow. You've wowed them, you've surprised them, you're delighting them, you know, like the raw samples and that magazine. Again, those, you're not worrying about the margin, or you're not worrying about the cost to you, because it's wowing, it's surprising, and it's caring for them.
We're trusting that they're going to come back in.
Yeah.
Right there at the bottom corner is your logo and your address too. That's who gave me that magazine. I'm going back.
Yeah. Yeah.
One more thing for training, I would also recommend ask your reps, ask your company reps for training. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for things. When we first started, I just was quiet, and somebody came to the door. I thought, oh, who are you? Do you belong here? How did you know I'm even here? Well, now we have reps that want to bring reps traveling from other areas to our store. But I'm not afraid to reach out and say, hey, I've got some new staff members. Can you come and provide a training for them? And some of them have online training available, videos and that sort of thing. So look to your companies, use them because they want to help you.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have one last question, and then we'll wrap it up. Carly wants to know how quickly you should change a dog from kibble to raw.
Tonight. Don't mix kibble with raw. They'll tell you differently, but you'll cause a gastrointestinal problem. The dog will puke and they'll blame the food. So just defrost it. If you don't want to give a full portion, give them a little bit. Don't feed it cold. We just go straight over. We actually have a little tablet that we hand out with instructions that you can't screw up. Just read this. Take this home, Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer. You follow this, you'll be fine. You can't, you know, it's not kibble. You're not doing the 1/3 for 3 days, half and half for 3 days, 1/3 old for 3 days. We did on 10. No, you can do half. You know, do raw in the morning is our recommendation, and kibble at night. When you feed your dog, it's critical when you feed your dog, and people don't understand that either. You know, the proper way to feed a dog is once a day at night and fast 1 day a week.
Good luck.
Does anybody do that? No. Police dogs do that. Why are police dogs in such great shape? Because we follow a protocol. So everybody feeds twice a day, and they think that dinner time is dinner time for a dog. No. You feed breakfast when you get up, and you feed that dog just before you go to bed so he can go out and do his business and come in and lay down and comfortably digest. So if you're going to, you know, if you got this 170-pound dog and you can't afford $20 a day, feed him raw in the morning, kibble at night just before bed.
Mm-hmm. We have 2 other great questions if you're willing to take them and hang on with us.
That's good, man.
Yep.
All right, Kelly. So excuse my voice is starting to go. Kelly's curious about if you vaccinate. She's got the dog cancer series and she feeds raw. She prefers to titer. She's just wondering what your thoughts are on vaccinations.
I love her to
We
death.
agree. Good job.
Your dog needs, okay, I hope there's no vets out there. Your dog needs 3 shots for life. Distemper, parvo, rabies after a year. Now they're going to come and find me.
One of our friends had her dog vaccinated at 8 months, got the rabies vaccination, and never did another rabies vaccination since. Now, fast forward, the dog's going on 7 years old. She goes into the vet and says, I'd like a titer test. Ask the vet, what's a safe level of antigen in his system? And the vet says, if he has 0.5 international units per milliliter, he's well protected. That test came back at 9.
18 times more than he needed. 7 years later.
7 years later. Oh my gosh.
Propaganda that we vaccinate these animals just because they say so. Why didn't we check first? You know, my thing is that all these vets are against titering because they want the repeat business of the shots. That's my assumption. So how about instead of coming in there and spending $50 sticking something in my dog I really don't want, that I give you $50 to do a titer test and we're all good. What else besides rabies do you have to have for law? None. It's just assumed.
And we have like, and for dog to send your dog to doggy daycare, there in certain cities, there's other ones you have to have.
What we didn't tell you is that if you do the Bordetella it covers only 4 or 40 strains.
Yeah.
And that they're contagious with it for a week.
Yeah.
So how did they get camel cough?
And we talk about our relationships with our customers. Well, our customers believe in us so much. We actually had a customer that did the titer test, and she went through the procedure. She went to the vet and said, I want you to draw blood and spin it, and I want to walk out of the door with it. And I think she paid $35 for that. And then she went to Dr. Jean Dodd's facility, Hemopet, and they provided the titer for her.
Hemopet.com.
And we actually have, she sent us the instructions, everything step by step that she did, the people she talked to, the website she visited. And we just drafted that into a document and we hand that out to people. So that's something else you can do, is interact with your customers. When they give you good information, take it and pass it along. And that means more when you say, you know, I had another customer that had that issue and here's what they did.
We won't even go into flea and tick and heartworm. So we don't
have yeah, Jocelyn said the titers near her are $270.
Look at Dr. Rob. Look at
protectthepets.com
or org.
I can't remember.
Dr. Rob.
Yeah.
All right. Nicole is curious how you feel about Dogs Naturally magazine direct marketing to consumers for supplements, and if you feel like that.
Well, I use them as, I don't buy supplements.
It's not ideal, but to be doing that. And if somebody needs a supplement, people that are going to buy online, again, are not going to be our customers.
They're all good supplements, and I wouldn't say not to buy them, but we won't. And they got to pay the bills too. So as a consumer, I would recommend almost everything they have. But not as mercantile. We have our own sources.
And I think too, Nicole, I mean, buyers nowadays, you buy from 5 different places. You're going to be buying, you buy out of convenience. Sometimes you're buying here, sometimes you're buying there. You buy certain things from one place. And most shoppers now do go to multiple places. And so what you're using the Dog Naturally magazine for is actually more beneficial to you and the strategy you're using it than you worrying about hiding it from customers because they're going to take like maybe $100 of supplement business from you every month. We don't
see them as competition at all. Because we interact with their information. We use their information to reinforce what we're saying. And we're finding a lot of people want to go into a local store and they want help. They don't want to, like you buy your supplement or your product online, and how do you feel if you bought it online and now you have a problem and you go into the local store to say, hey, I bought this online. Can you help me solve the problem with it?
People want to work with you.
Yeah.
Their supplements are great, but remember that your business should be, the foundation of your business is food and treats. Yeah. And that's the repeat customer. When that customer comes back in, and I don't hammer people the first time they come in a store. I give them stuff. Hey, that guy gave me this stuff. That's pretty cool. He come in again. Are they buying food that time? No, maybe not. But second, third time in, after we have a few conversations, I got the hook in them, and they're here. Mm-hmm. And then with the frequent buyer programs and the different marketing things that we have to retain our customers, we keep a magnetic attachment to them. So it's all good stuff. You can't be afraid of pushing business someplace else. Will they do that? Maybe they will. But if you have a similar product, say a digestive enzyme, for instance, and it's the same price or less, or maybe it's a couple bucks more, the convenience of you being able to, first of all, have it in your store and then explain it to them and how this should happen.
And answer any follow-up phone calls too. People will call up and they'll say, no, I was in your store today and you explained this. I have a question. So you're not going to get that online. And people know that. And the thing is, Brad said earlier, not everyone's your customer. You have to trust your customers. And that's why when people come in, we never upsell. Sometimes we downsell. They might come in and think that my dog's having his teeth out. My vet said, I need to feed him canned food. I said, well, do you really need to feed canned food? I mean, let's think about this because that's a one-way road. I don't think you do.
That's a huge thing.
We talk these things out with people and we gain their trust.
What costs more, cans or raw?
I think you can. Yeah. Sorry. I was reading the next question. I was a little delayed
how
there.
hard is that? Hey, I'm going to save you money, and I'm going to, you're going to have a better dog here. But, and we love all of our cans too. The thing is a perfect example is today, a gal came in with a 6-pound toy poodle, and her breeder, God love them, has the best recommendations in the world because they're breeders, right? So I've only found one that knows what they're talking about, but sorry, breeders. This 6-pound dog, she's buying a 2-pound thing of green tripe, bless her heart, love it to death, and chicken necks. And that's all she's feeding this dog. And she's complaining these things are nasty. He drags them all over. I said, why are you feeding chicken necks? I mean, it might be a good treat once. No, that's all we feed them. I said, you're going to cause pancreatitis on that dog. That dog cannot digest that. What? Well, the breeder said, that's all the breeder said. So guess what they walked out with? Green tripe and raw.
Cliff is saying that he sent a friend of his. So Cliff, if this is our club member, Cliff, he's on the East Coast, sent a friend of his named Chris to your store 2 weeks ago. And Chris said that, one, his pup is down 7 pounds already in like the 3 weeks. Yeah. And, but Chris, I guess, told Cliff that you showed him a 2-minute video.
Yeah.
What's that video?
I don't remember which video it was. We've got one. Was it a joint supplement or maybe a weight loss? Because we have one that we have. A customer has
it's
and they've lost a lot of weight.
It's Odin and Kyra. Look that one up.
Odin and Kyra. Okay, yeah.
And
is it on your YouTube channel or? So is it on your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
The channel is Ben's Barketplace franchise.
Got it. And this is a customer testimonial, maybe?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I remember coming in.
Sally and I like,
how this about you from a friend that lives, I think it was Ohio or something.
Where'd this guy come from?
Yeah.
He said, I read about the store and you're fortunate. You live there. You go in there.
So we got a customer from Pets Plus.
That was nice.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I think Christina just shared a video or a link. So that's awesome. Yeah, so you guys have, just to wrap it up here, so you guys have franchise opportunities. They can go to ownabens.com, right?
Yeah, that's getting changed right now, but yeah.
Okay. So if when I buy a franchise, and I said, you and I were talking earlier, and I was like, well, most of these people already have stores, but you said actually people, if they wanted to rebrand and come into Ben's Marketplace, it's possible. Convert, yeah. We didn't get a chance to share all the pictures and your amazing welding work that you've done with those dog food displays. I have to tell you guys, you need to find pictures of his dog food racks because these are so cool. I love how they like go inwards like a triangle, and that way they don't take up. They're not like these big boxes. They come in, so it opens up the space more. I really love that. All right. Well, any last parting words?
I hope you feel better.
Thanks. I know it's.
Thank you so much for having us. I mean, we know that we're blessed to be in this position and to have found something that we truly enjoy doing. And we've evolved over the years. When we started out, we were more boutique-y, and we thought, oh, we're right in the middle of the senior community. They're going to want fun, cute things. No,
those folks can pinch a quarter and make it cry.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is, when you have products that you believe in and you have the knowledge about the products, even if they're a little bit more than the box stores or somebody else they're buying online, people will come to you when they see the value, when they feel the value isn't just the cost of the bag of food, or the cost of the treat. It's the knowledge that goes behind it. It's when they walk in the door and you can greet them by name or you know their dog. And I learned that one early on. I was always apologizing to people. I said, gosh, I'm sorry. I don't remember your name, but I know your dog's name. And everybody says, oh, that's okay. That's great. You know my dog's name.
Yeah.
Nutrition is health. Veterinarians are medicine. That's sickness. The whole thing, keep them away from the veterinarian because the veterinarian wants to keep them healthy, right? So let's feed them the best food so they can be healthy.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Brad and Sally, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for submitting your application for America's Coolest Store, and for sharing your wisdom with us tonight. We really appreciate that. So to recap, if anybody wants to apply for this year's contest, you do so at petsplusmag.com/ACS. And our February webinars, or not what we call them webinars sometimes, but they're really shows, are going to be, I'll give you the dates. We have February 5th at 12 p.m. Eastern. It's a Tuesday, I think, on February 5th at 12 p.m. Eastern. I'm actually going to be doing a training where I walk you through the article that'll be in the issue, and it's about travels to South Africa. And last year in February, I got to go to South Africa, and they have some amazing stores and experiences. And I wrote about like things that I learned from them that we can all do in our businesses. And so the training will be about like how you can uncover, not even in your, whether it's your travels, maybe even just your trip to the grocery store, kind of different things and elements you can bring into your own businesses. So that training is on February 5th at 12 p.m. Eastern. And then on February 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll be interviewing Debbie Brockman of Furry Friends, Inc. She's the coolest store that gets featured in February. So save those dates, everybody. And please tell your friends, your other pet industry friends about Pets Plus Live, Beyond the Pages, because I truly believe we're stronger together. And it's moments like this where we open up and we help each other be better. And that means we can help more pet parents. So it's a better place for all of us. So I just appreciate you guys being so open and sharing. And I thank everyone who joined us tonight. So let's just keep rolling. Hope I see y'all in February.
Yeah. Take care of your business and your walls, and don't worry so much about competition. You do the right thing within your walls, you'll be successful.
That's right. All right, guys. Everyone have a wonderful night. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. Bye.